Hey guys, so I wanted to make a video discussing January's schedule. I'm not sure if I want to make this a new thing that we do every month, sort of talking about each month's schedule and what we can expect to see during the month. If you guys want to see that, let me know. I definitely can do that. It's mostly just going to be taking a look at the prior year schedule, seeing how that worked, and giving, I guess, some educated guesses and predictions as to how the current month will progress. So yeah, we'll start with January, and if you guys do actually want to see this continue for future months, let me know. But we're, coming out of Legends Festival, we're starting with a pretty hype not 1% Zenkai, pretty hype LF Zenkai with the Blue Goku and Vegeta, and I have big hopes for Dragon Ball Legends in 2025. They've already talked about the fact that they are planning for the biggest update in the game's history in May, so we do have about 4 months to build up for that. We'll have the biggest update ever. We'll have the anniversary. So, with all that said, with how 2024 was handled, at least the second half of 2024, I do want to look at things in a positive light, and I do want to be positive moving forward up until the anniversary, because I'm going to be giving them the benefit of the doubt. We have Daima as an ongoing anime, and I really do think this game still even has a lot of potential. So, yeah, we'll be keeping a close eye on how they're going to be handling things, and I am going to be I think I am going to be being pretty positive about this moving forward, so we'll see how that works. But anyway, I want to talk about January, and specifically the January schedule in this video. So I do have the calendars for 2025 and 2024 pulled up, because like I said, maybe I should make this a little bit smaller. Yeah, there we go. You can probably see it a little bit better. I think using the prior year's calendar as a guide for the current year is probably the best way to do this. So if you remember back to January of 2024, this was the introduction of a bunch of buffs for the GT team. They mentioned that there were going to be a lot of buffs throughout the year for GT, and that is certainly what we saw during 2024. Now, we actually first got that announced on the 9th. So the first update of January last year was the 10th. This is where the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta Zenkai dropped. And along with his Zenkai announcement on the 9th, which is the day before he dropped, they officially announced that this month would be the GT campaign, which we would get LF Spirit Bomb Goku, and we would get LF Super 17 at the end of the month, which we didn't know at the time, but that's really what they had planned for the month here. So this month was all about GT, and that's how they structured the month-long episode campaign for GT in this month. Now, before we get into specifics in terms of what I expect to see here, I think a lot of this is going to come down to how they want to progress with actually holding campaigns for 2025. I don't know how this is going to work, because we've never had an ongoing anime like Daima during Legends being like an actual thing, during Legends being live. Dragon Ball Super ended before Dragon Ball Legends began. The only new content that came out during Legends being a game is Dragon Ball Super Broly, which they immediately dropped a Dragon Ball Super Broly unit for us, basically the day the movie dropped, the purple Broly, but that was a movie. And then we had Superhero, which again is another movie. And now we have Daima. So we'll see how they want to handle this. Daima, I would assume, is based on a lot of rumors that have spread and what we know from leaks and stuff like that. It's probably going to be ending at some point in around March/early April, somewhere in there. It's going to be 20 to 22 episodes, something like that. So we're not that far away from it ending, but I would assume that until Daima comes to a conclusion, we're going to be receiving Daima characters just periodically throughout the run of the show. So that begs the question, how does this game want to manage the celebrations, right? Are we going to be doing monthly celebrations where, okay, January is going to be the movie celebration, but then at the same time, we're in parallel going to be getting Daima characters? I don't know. I don't know if that's what they're going to be doing. To me, what makes the most sense is maybe not even giving us monthly celebrations. They just focus whatever we get around the characters themselves. So I'm thinking about something like maybe the January 15th release, because that's going to be the first LF we get in the month. Maybe the January 15th release is, I don't know, a Cell Saga character. And then we get a Cell Saga like week of buffs and stuff like that. But then the end of the month release maybe is Daima related. And I think what's going to happen most likely is there's just going to be a sprinkling of Daima characters up until the end of the show. And then obviously for like the super hype stuff, which I'm assuming we'll get to at the end of Daima, new fusions, new forms, main villains, just power-ups, whatever. Who knows what's going to happen at the end of Daima. That might be saved for a more exciting time. Like, I don't know if they would do Anniversary, maybe like a part 2 to Anniversary, or maybe potentially even Legends Festival at the end of the year. But Daima is a thing that is prevalent right now, and I think it is within the game's best interest to release a lot of the super hype stuff for Daima when it is relevant. Well, not just when it's relevant, but when it's at its most exciting, which is basically right away, right? So we do have, by the way, there's going to be spoilers here, and I'm probably going to probably put a spoiler in the thumbnail because at this point it has been over a week since this got shown off, and I would assume that at this point most people have had time to see what happens and stuff like that. At least if you're on social media, there's no way you can avoid this. So a big thing, for example, is Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, right? Vegeta goes Super Saiyan 3 for the first time in Dragon Ball Daima Episode 12, which was probably one of, if not the biggest things that's happened in Daima so far. And certainly we are going to be getting Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta in Dragon Ball Legends. The question is just when, and if they want to tie that to a specific celebration or a campaign. So what I'm thinking they could do is we could start 2 parallel campaigns at the same time. The first one would be a Dragon Ball Daima campaign, but it wouldn't just be for 1 month. It would be a Dragon Ball Daima campaign that just goes all the way until like March, the end of March, or maybe even all the way till the end of April. And so it would be like a 4-month long campaign. We already do have like the weekly login bonuses for the episodes. We have the exchange shops where they're giving us, what is it, like the coins. We have the exchange shop where they're giving us the sleeves. So we already have like sort of a background thing going on for a bunch of Daima stuff, but I feel like they could even kick it up to another level and just, you know, at some point within the next week or so announce that we're going to be getting periodic Daima characters released all the way up through the end of April. But then at the same time, we will also be having simultaneous monthly campaigns running at the same time in parallel with the Daima campaign. So what that could mean is, you know, maybe again, like 1 week we get a Daima banner, and then the next week we get a we get a banner or a character or a free character or a Zenkai or whatever it is that falls in line with whatever that monthly campaign is. So for example, this month, again, let's just say it's like a Cell Saga thing. They drop like a new instant transmission Goku LF character on the 15th, and then maybe the 22nd is a Cell Saga, I don't know, Zenkai or something. And then on the next week, at the end of the month, we get an LF from Daima, right? That could be something that happens. And I think the reason they would do that is just so that it doesn't really, those things don't clash, right? So having a Daima campaign running in the background at all times means that it never really feels out of place for a Daima character to just appear on a banner, right? Because for me, it doesn't really feel realistic for them to just do 4 months in a row of just only Daima stuff. And it doesn't really feel realistic for me, for them to do 4 months in a row of just neglecting and ignoring Daima, right? We got Vegeta goes Super Saiyan 3 for the first time. There is no way. If we go the entire next 4 months until Anniversary without Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta appearing in the game, something is wrong, okay? Something is wrong. Unless they want to save it for Anniversary, which I guess is possible, right? Maybe like a part 2 to Anniversary. Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta from Daima could potentially be a thing. But for me, it makes the most sense for me for them to release something like that as close to the debut of that character's form in the show as possible, because that's when it's most hype, most exciting, most fresh in people's minds. So that's the kind of structure I'm thinking of. Again, this is not confirmed or anything. I'm just thinking out loud here of the best way for them to constructively release Daima characters as well as other characters not related to Daima at the same time, while still maintaining the monthly celebration structure that they've basically done for the past 2 years. Because it seems unlikely to me that they're going to just essentially just scrap the idea of monthly celebrations. It's typically how the game has worked and how the schedule has been structured. So that's really what I'm thinking of for the overall structure here, but you guys can let me know what you think about that, if it's not going to work, or whatever your thoughts are about that. So just to quickly go through what we actually got in 2024. So like I said, in January 9th, That was when they announced the Zenkai for LF Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, and simultaneously they announced the GT episode campaign, and they said that they're planning for GT to get tons of buffs throughout the year. So we'll see if that's what they want to do this month. I'm thinking the tag that maybe they want to focus on for the majority of the year is going to be either Daima or Weapon Wielder or both. We have started to see some pretty major releases. We even saw a Legends Festival Part 2 character headline a banner from Daima. That obviously is meant to start establishing some of the Daima and Weapon Wielder based teams, so we'll see if that's what they want to do. And then on the 10th is when Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta Zenkai actually released, and then we got our first LF of the year on the 17th, which of course was the Universal Spirit Bomb. I think they actually called it the Ultra Super Spirit Bomb or something. Goku, which I really wasn't a huge fan of that release. I think it kind of was lacking a little bit. You could really tell that not a ton of effort was put into the animations. It was kind of just like a base form generic Goku, and that version of Goku from GT, at least from my perspective, is really something that I felt they could have innovated a lot with, and wasn't really super exciting. He was just kind of like a generic base Goku. He was pretty good when he came out, but I was a little bit underwhelmed by that release. But that was the first LF we got in 2024 on the 17th of January. And then moving on from there, the week after that, on the 24th, we got the Zenkai 1% character Zenkai for Red Omega Shenron, who actually was pretty good. I actually think I like that Red Omega Shenron Zenkai more than most people. And even looking back throughout 2024, when we look at a lot of the 1% sparkings, we certainly had a lot of not great ones, but we had a very few select really good ones. I don't know if he's going to fall in the top like 3 1% sparkings. Definitely not this Omega, but he was definitely better than most Zenkais we got that year, and I think that was probably just because they were trying to push GT heavily in the early parts of the year to establish a foundation for the team because of how neglected it was for so long. So that was the release on the 24th, and then on the 31st, we did end up getting Super 17 as the second LF in the month, which I don't believe we saw again. Outside of, like, of course, major celebrations, we didn't see 2 LFs in the same month for the same celebration. Usually it was either an LF and a Mega Rising banner, or an LF and an Ultra character. One thing to mention that will be relevant in a second is Battle Hour last year was the 28th and 27th, I believe, Saturday and Sunday. The 27th and 28th. Battle Hour this year, if we now start to consider this 2025 January, is a bit earlier. I believe it's the 18th and 19th. So it is a full week earlier than it was the prior year, and I think that might have some implications on what we could see announced for Battle Hour. Because I think what that means is, I don't even know if they're going to be announcing a character for Battle Hour. They might just be announcing a Zenkai Awakening, which I understand would probably be a little bit underwhelming for most people, but I don't know, because the second character of the month would release either on the 29th or the 31st, which we'll talk about in a second. I don't know if they would announce a character on like the 18th, who would be coming out on the 29th. That's quite a while to wait. Battle Hour is a pretty special event, though, so I don't know if they would make an exception here, but I think it's possible at least that they might not even announce a character at Battle Hour. It might just be for whatever Zenkai Awakening we're getting on the 22nd, but we'll have to wait and see for that. So for 2025, we already know for sure, this is the only thing we actually know so far, the Tag LF Blue Goku and Vegeta, the first ever tag character release, will be getting a Zenkai on January 8th, which is the first real like reset day of the year. So the Tag Blues are going to be getting their Zenkai announcement here. Now keep in mind, again, we got the announcement for the GT celebration on the 9th. So I don't know if they're going to really tie in the Goku and Vegeta Zenkai to whatever we end up getting for the rest of the month. But if it does tie into it, then they're probably going to announce what the rest of the month is going to be themed around on the 7th, which is the day before they drop. So, I mean, if they want to tie it into that, then it most likely will just be Broly movie themed, I would assume. And one character that I don't know why they've gone so long without giving us is a new Dragon Ball Super Broly. They could do a transforming Super Saiyan into full power Broly as an LF character. They could just do simply a full power Broly as an LF character. They could even do I think a wrathful / rage Broly as an LF character. There's a lot of animations that Broly does. Broly literally fights for like 40 minutes in that movie. So a lot of animations they can take from and make a cool character from. But Dragon Ball Super Broly, there's maybe potentially even like a God Vegeta, a standalone Super Saiyan God Vegeta could definitely be an LF as well. So there's a few things they could do from the Broly movie. So if that's going to be an indication, the Zenkai for Blue Goku and Vegeta, if that's going to be an indication of what we see for the rest of the month, I could definitely see that being pretty easy to take new characters from. God Vegeta could be one, any kind of Broly could be one. We could even see a new like Blue Goku or something from there. There's a lot of options. There's a lot of fighting in that movie. Maybe, honestly, we could even see like a Super Saiyan Gogeta. Not even a Blue Gogeta, just a Super Saiyan Gogeta. Potentially get an LF as well, because he does a few things that are worthy. Like the start, we could get like an LF version of the Stardust Fall that maybe he does like a finish attack off of or something. I don't know, but there's a lot we could get still from the Broly movie, I think. So that character, whatever the first LF we get in this month would be the 15th. This is the first major release of the year. It's the same slot as last year on the 17th. It's just obviously because the year started earlier in the week last year. And then, like I said, Battle Hour is going to be the 18th and 19th. So we'll see what they're going to announce there. But it is completely possible that it is just going to be an announcement for a Zenkai, which we should get a 1% Zenkai on the 22nd. This will be our first 1% Zenkai of the year. Unless they want to do 2 LF Zenkais. I mean, they did really not give us a ton of LF Zenkais during Legends Fest. In fact, they only gave us one in LF Trunks. I'm very confused as to why they only gave us one when in I believe it was the anniversary gave us 3, and then I think last Legends Fest we got 2 or 3, but for some reason we only got 1. Very, very confusing. So maybe there is a possibility that they are saving another LF Zenkai for this slot, right? So we're going to get one here. Maybe we get one here, and the reason why they held off is because they wanted to announce it at Battle Hour, and I really could see this. I could see a world. Now, don't quote me on this, but I could at least see a possibility where this happens. We get the blue Goku and Vegeta Zenkai here. They announced that this is going to be a Dragon Ball Super Broly themed month. We get like Super Saiyan God Vegeta or a new DBS Broly LF on the 15th. And then here we get an announcement for Blue Gogeta Zenkai. Now, I'm not saying that's guaranteed. I'm not saying there's really even any evidence for that. But that would be certainly very fitting for a Battle Hour announcement if it's not going to be a new character. The Zenkai for the long-awaited LF Blue Gogeta here, I could see it. I could. And then the last release of the month, this is either going to be on the 29th or the 31st. I think it could be either one. They've done it both ways before. Sometimes they've intentionally held back releases until the final day of the month. And sometimes they've just dropped them on the normal reset day at the end of the month. For Ultra Hit, 2 years ago at the end of January, they dropped Ultra Hit on the 31st, which was a Tuesday. So they've done that before, but then they've also, last year, I believe the Wednesday was already the 31st. So I think in this case, they probably would hold off until the 31st. So they would probably like announce something here or whatever, and then they would actually like they if they were going to do like a big character, they would probably announce the reveals and stuff like maybe like the 27th or the 28th, and then it would happen here, and then the actual release would be on that Friday. But we'll see. So last year this slot was an LF. 2 years ago the slot was an Ultra. It would be kind of underwhelming for me if they started the year out in January with a Mega Rising. I would hope they wouldn't do that. So my picks are going to be either an LF, a second LF, or potentially an Ultra here. And the reason why I want to lean more towards an LF character is because I want to say this is going to be Daima related. The end of January release slot. Again, I think they're probably going to lean into the strategy of doing like non-Daima release, Daima release, and then they're going to like alternate between like, so then if we go to like February, it'll be like non-Daima release, and stuff like that. That's probably what I'm expecting. They're just going to be alternating between Daima and non-Daima stuff just to get it out there as fast as possible. But that's really, I think, what I'm looking at for the January schedule and calendar this year. We'll have to wait and see what kind of theme they want to go for January, if there's even going to be a theme at all. We'll have to wait and see what kind of event structure and campaign structure they want to use for the rest of this year too. With Daima ongoing, it's going to be tough to sort of manage that, plus another theme at the same time. But I think it's possible to have two different celebrations sort of running in parallel during the run of Dragon Ball Daima. So you guys can let me know what you think about this structure here. Let me know what you think you would want to see for January. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next one.